My name is Franny Whitbeck.
I'm Mia Staley.
My name is Macy Noli.
I'm MG Sprathen.
I'm Kate McGinnis.
I was originally from
Guiping, China.
I was adopted in Nanning.
On June 20th.
2005.
My name is Sally McGinnis. In 2005, me, my older sister, my parents, and my grandmother traveled to China to adopt my little sister Kate. I was 6 years old, Kate was 2. I still remember seeing her for the first time, and how exciting it was to finally get to meet her. Once we brought her home, it was pretty clear that our Irish Catholic family had a new Chinese member. Our hometown of St. Louis is one of the most racially segregated in America today. I always wondered what it was like for her to grow up around almost exclusively white people. When we first adopted Kate, there were 7 other families in the same room with us, all adopting their daughters at the same time. We kept in touch with these families and have a yearly reunion called Guiping to celebrate their adoption. 5 of the 8 families, including mine, still come to the reunion, so I've been able to see these girls grow up. Macy, Franny, MG, and Mia are also from white families in the Midwest. Most of them are getting ready to graduate high school this year. I thought this would be a good time to ask the girls about their experiences, identity, and their surroundings. This is what they had to say. All right, you ready? No? Why aren't you ready?
What?
Why aren't you ready?
Probably laugh.
That's fine. Laughing is okay.
From China, I remember after you adopted me in the hotel, when you and me were bouncing on the bed and like dad would like lower us down. I think I remember splashing people in the pool.
Mia means mine. A lot of the stories about my adoption that I hear is that when they finally got to know that I was the one being adopted to their family, they would put pictures of me on their fridge and like spell out my name.
We talked about like the experiences that they've had, and they talked about the adoption process.
They cry sometimes when we try to talk about it. I don't know much about it, so there's not much I can go off of.
We talked about why she wanted to adopt and her story through it. It's no different than like giving birth to a kid. Like it didn't make our relationship any different. That's most of our conversations when we talk about it.
I mean, we grew up in the suburbs in St. Louis, Missouri. I mean, where we lived, it was like just a regular place to live.
What most people know about Springfield or Missouri in general is that you could have all the weathers and seasons in the span of 3 days.
I like how I was raised. I like that I went to Catholic schools in Lenexa, Kansas.
Yeah, I live in Warrensburg, Missouri. We sit in parking lots and go to McDonald's.
There's not really a lot of things to do around in Sullivan. Nowadays, kids will go to the Walmart parking lot and hang out. I feel like Sullivan's kind of like one opinionated town.
I feel like it's hard to express yourself in a rural place. That's a lot easier said than done.
One time, they were like, Macy, how do you make egg rolls? And I'm like, I don't know, why are you asking? I mean, you're Chinese, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm Chinese, but it doesn't mean like I know how to make egg rolls.
I was in the drive-thru one day, and this guy came through, and he said I talked really fast. And I asked him what he meant by that, and he said, I just thought Orientals talked fast. And I looked at him and I was like, what? And he said, don't worry, I'm not racist. My grandson back there, he's half Oriental. And I was like, okay.
I don't think anyone in my class knows I'm adopted. And they've seen my parents.
Actually, one of my friends thought I was shipped from China to the U.S.
Just weird because, you know, it doesn't take much to realize that I'm not white.
Guiping is a family reunion, not like a family reunion, but like we're all basically family.
It's a great gathering where we could go at a specific place. We all try to be there if we can.
You can be apart for a year, and then as soon as we got back together, it clicked right back in.
It's honestly like we've known each other for so, like when we were like born.
It celebrates like our adoption and like being connected through our adoption.
And like staying in touch with like who we are, like with our culture.
I do remember the one parts when like some of the families that couldn't come, we made cardboard cutouts of their heads and brought them along with us.
We all have like white parents, so it's like very different and we don't really like see the difference. But like when we're all together, then like you see the difference, but like we all like love where we came from.
It was a group of people that went through the exact same thing as I did. It may have been like out of the normal here, but it wasn't when I was with them. All of us have very, very different political stances and religious stances, but that doesn't stop us from being close.
Guiping to me means like joy. That's like just such a different joy.
It's a reminder that you know people that are related in some relation.
Because I was an only child, it was like having siblings.
It just feels like we're not like different at all. It just feels like we're like one big like cousin-y family.
I feel like people, they hear someone's adopted and they think that like they're not like a full part of the family. And I remember Mary telling me like how one of her friends was like, so do you love Sally more because she's not adopted? And Mary was like,
My mom has gotten stuff like that, I think. I think someone was talking to her and she said, so how's your adopted kid? And she's like, what do you mean she's just my kid?
I feel like everyone who's adopted always has the question like, why was I put up for like adoption?
I was down in front of the police station where people could find me. I just always assumed it was the one-child policy. It was, maybe it's not, but that's what I've always assumed.
I kind of understood it back then just because population.
My birth mother, I bet, you know, she did want me, but like she couldn't. I bet she just didn't want the risk of the government finding out.
I mean, it does suck that I was given up. I'm not like mad, I'm just like, whatever. They did what they had to do. Yeah, I do think about my birth family a little bit, not too much. I'm never like crying over it. I'm just like, I wonder what they're doing. All right, I need to do this essay.
I think it's cool watching my sisters and my parents interact because like I can like see the resemblance between them, and like I would love to like experience that with my birth parents, but like being adopted by my parents, like I wouldn't change it for the world.
I always wonder if I could ever find them again, but I know that would be really hard.
My mom tells me that whoever my mother originally was a very brave woman and that she gave up a lot to give me up.
I would want to go back to Guiping specifically, just cause, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, hey, I'm from here. Visit the police station. Hey.
I don't think it would be like as much of a breakthrough and like awakening as people think it would. Because we don't remember anything.
We went back to China when I was going into 2nd grade. My parents were like, they wanted to let me experience like the culture and like see where like I came from. It was interesting because like you kind of like fit in. You were like looked like them too. And so like it was really cool to see that experience.
I haven't really thought about like being like really connected to China. I think just because, I mean, I know I'm from China and that's pretty nice. A lot like a different diversity than like what I see.
I want to know about my history, like where all the parts of where I would be from, or like a history of like some things I could be connected with. I kind of want to go more in depth with that when I have the time. But right now, I think I'm fine with knowing where I am right now.
Having parents like of different race, like I just like haven't grown up with like Chinese culture, and like I think I've lost that. I don't really see that big of like how important it is, but I guess it is more important now talking more about it, like that I can bring like a different culture to Lenexa that it doesn't really have. So I think it's pretty cool.
I'm not like ashamed to be different or not white or anything like that. Like I never really wanted to be. Although I'm like not, I mean I am fully Chinese, but culture-wise I'm not. It's different for people who like live there until they're like 6 or 7 and then move to the US. Like they can speak the language, they remember it, and also I don't have Chinese parents. So like I haven't been exposed to that at all.
I don't necessarily identify as Chinese American. Our whole family is Irish, and everybody's like proud and stuff, and everybody like embraces it. So I feel like that's more of the side I'm leaning on right now. I think I do eventually want to have something to identify with. I don't know, like I really just identify as Kate McGinnis. No, I just exist